afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am super excited to have you guys here with me today. Welcome to the Timer Show channel. If it's your first time visiting, thank you so much for dropping through and popping through. Again, this channel is for motivation, empowerment, real talk, and inspiration. We gonna get into it. So let's jump right into that time nugget for today though. Hey! Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so the time nugget for today is going to be falling in love with yourself all over again. Like hardcore falling in love with yourself all over again. Now, why is it important to fall in love with yourself? Because you are forever changing and evolving. You're not going to like the same things that you liked a year ago or 2 years ago. You're not going to be drawn to the same things that you may have been drawn to even a couple of weeks ago. So let this be a season of falling in love with yourself all over again. Let this be a season of finding out what really makes you tick, what makes you happy, what are you passionate about. You may not even be passionate about the same things. The same things that made you happy last year may not make you happy this year, but you don't even know that because you haven't checked in with yourself in a while. So that's why we're going to talk about falling in love with yourself all over again. So I have a couple of tips. Tip number 1, take time in the morning to check in with yourself. You want to check in with yourself on a daily basis. You want to start quieting yourself so you can start hearing what you're internalizing and what you're processing within yourself to say, okay, what makes me happy? Am I happy today? And then start paying attention throughout the day to things that make you happy, bring you joy, bring you peace. Also pay attention to things that frustrate you, irritate you, make you upset, take energy from you. Pay attention to what adds energy to you. Pay attention to what inspires you, what motivates you throughout the day, what makes you feel empowered throughout the day, what stirs up creativity in you throughout the day. Pay attention to what's going on internally in your mind, in your heart, in your spirit on a daily basis. Like slow yourself down enough to just check in with yourself to say, okay, how am I feeling right now? If I'm feeling happy, okay, what triggered that? If I'm not feeling happy, if I'm not feeling so good, what triggered that? And start paying attention to the patterns throughout your day that are causing your moods to swing and change and add to you and take away. Okay, that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, write down 10 to 15 things that excite you, that you're passionate about, that make you feel like you have wings to where you can fly anywhere in the world. Write those things down because you'll be surprised when you actually slow yourself down enough to start paying attention to what's really going on internally. You will start to notice that, wait a minute, I don't actually like that anymore. Wait a minute, that really doesn't stimulate me anymore. I don't like having those conversations anymore. And you start noticing that a lot of things within you have changed, but because we live in this microwave society and everything is now, instant gratification, give me more. It's like we're on overload. We're inundated with information from the right, from the left, from just everything. It bombards us to the point to where we become conditioned to not sitting in silence, not meditating, not praying, or doing whatever that is that brings us peace. It's like all of these voices and all of these things, all of these situations and circumstances just continuously on replay in our mind. So I want to challenge you, slow yourself down. Tip number 3, take some time to spend time with yourself. Go on long walks with yourself. Go to the beach by yourself. Go to the park by yourself. Treat yourself to a movie. Treat yourself to a day spa. Go sit under a tree and read a book. Take yourself out to dinner. Take yourself to the movies. Start spending time with yourself and getting to know yourself all over again. And even checking in to make sure that you still like and love yourself, because you may have done some things over the years or entertained some things over the years that made you kind of like not even really like the person that you started to become. So you want to check in and just make sure you still even like yourself. Truth be told, a lot of people don't like themselves. That's why it's hard for them to spend time by themselves, but that's a whole nother video. In conclusion, falling in love with yourself requires you to slow yourself down enough to silence all of the outside noise that's happening from social media, from the news, from situations and circumstances that are happening in your life, to see where you are, to check in with yourself, to make sure you're not on autopilot. Because if 2 or 3 or 4 years have gone by and you're still in the same place, you haven't grown, you haven't changed, you're not any happier than you were, you may even feel worse than you did maybe last year or the year before that, it's because you're more than likely on autopilot, just going through the motions, and you've checked out of your own life. I want you to check in with yourself to make sure you didn't check out of your own life. So the time nugget is fall in love with yourself all over again. Slow yourself down enough to give yourself grace. Take time to forgive yourself for entertaining situations or circumstances that may have hurt you, taken from your life, taken away from who you are as a person, that may have made you digress or go backwards. Forgive yourself for making mistakes. Forgive yourself for falling into old traps. Forgive yourself for repeating old patterns. You got to to keep it real with yourself, all the way real, and take time to forgive yourself. Give yourself grace and mercy. Dust yourself off, pop your collar, get up, and start all over again, okay? Today is a new day. Today is your new beginning. And take time to wine and dine yourself. Make sure that you are spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and intellectually full. Don't look for outside sources to validate you, to fill you up, to make you happy. That is your job, because it is your life. You are in charge of you. This is your machine, your vehicle that God has given you to move forward in, so that this can be a smooth year. This can be a year of change, transition, breakthrough, and new beginnings for real, because you're starting within yourself. Everything starts within. Everything starts here. What are you thinking about yourself? How are you feeling about yourself? Are you telling yourself scary stories or good stories? Are you having reoccurring nightmares in your mind playing? Or are you dreaming bigger and better and greater dreams? Do you have a vision? Are you pursuing vision? Like, what's going on up here? I want you to also slow yourself down to say, okay, what am I thinking about myself? What am I really telling myself? Am I telling myself scary stories? Am I speaking life over myself and into myself? Or am I speaking death? Because when you're on autopilot, you become conditioned to the negativity and to the drama that you even tell yourself without even knowing it. But that's another video. So I want you to check in with the language, the internal language that's going on with yourself. Take a deep breath. Slow yourself down. Shut your phone off. Shut down social media for a couple of hours. Journal. Think about what's happening inside and say, you know what? I feel like I am missing this. I feel like I do need to add more of this to my life. Go on some adventures. Go bungee jump. Well, I don't know about bungee jumping, but skydiving, go hiking, paragliding, parasailing. Do some things you've never done before. You owe it to yourself. Step outside of the box that doesn't even exist and fall in love with yourself all over again, okay? So that is my encouraging word for the week. Fall in love with yourself all over again. Whatever that looks like for you, because it's different for everybody. But just check in with yourself and see where you're at, so that you're moving forward in the progressive direction and not just making movements and not going anywhere, okay? So I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for stopping in, for spending time with me. Thank you for taking the journey with me, guys. Let's continue to do this together. Let's continue to inspire and motivate and empower one another. If you know someone who needs to hear this video, please share it. Don't forget to subscribe and like, so we can continue to take the journey together. I love you guys, and I'll see you again soon. Mwah!